Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, December 23rd, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. It's great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week on Norwood News, Jack Tolman and Kiki Thatcher highlight a special program that happens after hours at the Balch. We say goodbye to a friend. The Senior Center celebrates Christmas, but first, on Monday, the Norwood Police and Fire received an emergency 911 shortly after 11 a.m., reporting an ammonia leak at Home Market Foods, a food processing facility on Morgan Drive. Fire Chief David Hayes updates NCM on the situation.
So Monday morning about 11:10, we got a call over the radio. We got a report of an anhydrous ammonia leak with casualties. Actually the caller reported one injury and possibly one death already. Highly unusual to get that call that soon. We knew it was significant. Violated my own personal protocols. I called for the hazmat team while we were en route before anybody got there. We got there. I ordered nobody into the building, knowing what we had, knowing what the chemical is, how it responds to water and weather and people. It's basically it's a corrosive, with a pH of probably 12. The scale goes from 0 to 14, a fairly significant chemical. So I didn't want the guys inside. I didn't want to lose more people trying to recover somebody who was probably, in my professional judgment, not recoverable. Because we called for the hazmat team fairly quickly, I was on scene for probably 10 or 15 minutes. We were still gathering the basic information, assessing the situation. The crews were around the back of the building where the leak was, trying to assess it also. The first couple of hazmat techs came. They dressed in suits. They tried to make entry. Were forced back by the amount of chemical and a lack of visibility in the area and their lack of knowledge of the equipment area where the leak happened. They backed out. We ventilated. The company complied with us. They did great work. Home Market Foods. They reversed the ventilation system in the building, started sucking the ammonia vapors out. Not a terrible concern environmentally for us. The weather was perfect for, I hate to say that, the weather was perfect for this kind of thing. The wind was blowing the right direction. It was blowing into the woods. There was no life hazard. And ammonia vapors tend to want to rise. So we had a pretty stiff wind. It was mixing it up coming out of the stack, and we felt pretty good that we didn't have any downrange concerns. We didn't have a liquid release. Nothing really left the building beyond vapors. And I think that's important for the public to know that, as I said, the vapors want to rise, they get up, they mix up in the wind. The wind was perfect for us again. So there is no hazard to the public. There was no hazard to the public. If there was, we would have been on the emergency notification type things, letting people know. Once we got the room ventilated, we could see the victim on the floor, not moving. The hazmat technicians removed the victim, and he was deceased. Before that happened, we were up on the roof with the HVAC technicians, the refrigeration people from the company. Went up over our ladder. We were shutting off valves on the outside, valves that we had hoped would solve the leak. It did not. We went back, and there is no safe way to send somebody inside and say, hey, it's still leaking. We didn't want to expose people to that. Like, as I said, very corrosive chemical. So our methodology was close some valves, wait a few minutes, see if the levels decrease. The levels weren't decreasing. A couple hours later, we called the ladder back to the scene, put some more guys on the roof, with more refrigeration technicians all geared up for safety, and they went up and closed some more valves. At that time, the facility was vacant. We had searched the entire building, found there was nobody left inside. We contacted the security company for the Home Market Foods. They locked all the doors so that nobody, not even key holders, could get in. And we secured the scene for the night, hoping that the ventilation system would run overnight and clear the air. Noontime Tuesday, we went back with another Tier 1. A Tier 1 hazmat response is 5 guys in a truck. They do the initial investigation, and we decide on resources. So we had a Tier 1 response at noontime. We had an agreed upon meeting time after giving significant time for the room to vent. We met there at noon. We metered it again. We had levels 500 on the floor, which is still deadly, virtually immediately. 1,000 at 4 feet, 1600 at 6 feet. Not safe at all. We didn't allow anybody into the building. We activated a Tier 2 hazmat response. The guys came in. They brought a tiny little man lift. They brought all their equipment, suited people up, sent them in. They tried to get those more valves up much higher. They don't want, I guess when the engineers design these systems, they don't want people just turning the valves accidentally, so everything's up 15, 20 feet in the air. So it has to be purposeful. That hindered our response because we had to get up there. And these guys are in like little space suits. They're level A suits. They got an air pack on. There's a big bubble around them. And they have to go up and work like that. But we sent our people in along with a couple of certified refrigeration technicians. They made access to the valve, one last valve that was up high, and that seemed to have stopped the leak. We waited an hour yesterday afternoon, right about this time, I guess. We waited about another hour with the room closed up. We went in, reassessed. The levels were down significantly, but not safe. We called it off for the night. We locked the building up and left the ventilation on all night with a good feeling. I actually got to sleep last night. Monday night was pretty sleepless. Just worrying about things that could happen, people going in, this kind of thing. We left when we did leave the building, we left the police in charge and nobody was in or out, so it was monitored. But still, it doesn't make me comfortable. Let it vent overnight. We met there at 8 o'clock this morning. We metered it. It was verified safe in the accident area. And then once we ensured that area was safe, the hazmat team went in and metered the entire building and made sure that was safe. It's all safe. About 9:30 this morning, I turned most of the building back over to Home Market Food so they can begin their recovery process. I can't even begin to tell you how much food was in process of being made. And when we took over, we stopped their refrigeration system, we stopped their ovens. In mid-process, the people evacuated the building. They did a remarkable job, by the way. Accountability, they knew exactly who they had, they knew exactly who was there. So it worked out very well for us. It's great when we know that going in, that they have all their people. So I turned it back over to them. They're beginning their recovery, and we wish them the best. I mean, it's going to be a significant investigation, of course, with the death and the injury, and we wish them the best.
In school news, this week's segment highlights an adult English language class being taught at night at the Balch School. NCM's new producer, Kiki Thaxter and Jack Tolman, produced this special feature about this special class.
The bell has rung and the kids have gone home, but the learning continues here at the Balch School. An adult English language class was started last year for families whose second language is English. Current Principal Diane Ferreira was excited that her teachers wanted to offer this class, which would allow families the opportunity to come into the Balch, feel much more comfortable, and learn the English language.
You know, it was fortuitous that we had a new English language learner coordinator for the district. So Lisa Bourgeois is the head of the English language learner. She's a coordinator for the district. We brought our idea to her and she was able to talk it through with us. We were able to look for some curriculum. She was able to actually give them a little stipend to do this work. They do it on their own time after school, Monday nights, about 6-7 weeks in a row.
Second grade teacher Sandy Qualter and Title I teacher Ellen Norton are longtime teachers in the Norwood school system. After teaching all day long to their young students, they work together to plan and prepare for their adult students. And teaching this class has extra meaning to Sandy Qualter.
So for Ellen and Sandy, this is definitely a passion project. Sandy is bilingual herself. She speaks fluent Spanish. Her mother is, she's learning English even to this day. She comes and she enjoys the class as well. So Sandy always had that in her heart that she wanted to support families that speak two languages. Ellen is a fantastic, she is a Title I teacher, but she's all about learning literacy, all about learning to read, all about those things, and a really excellent teacher who engages really well with students and loves engaging with the adults as well. So for both of them, this has been like a passion project.
I do it for my mother because she also came to this country and it's been hard for her to learn English. I think my mother is happy to be here and excited to be learning English and excited to be a part of this program. And ever since I've been at the Balch, I've I've seen a lot of parents that I think could benefit from something like this. I think it's great that we can offer this to our parents.
Right now, why I continue to come every Monday and prepare all weekend long, joy. It brings me so much joy to be with these students who want to learn. They are very much involved in the program. They want to be here. I want to be here. It brings us so much happiness. I hope they will be able to converse more with their children. When I asked them, why are you here at one of the first weeks, they said, for my children. I want to read to them. I want to talk to them more. So to bond a mother-child, a father-child in language, I'm all for it. That's what I want to be here for.
One of the special partnerships included in this program is with Norwood High School students. Some students help and assist the teachers in the classroom, while others provide activities for the children so their parents can attend the class.
They are such an asset. At first they were a little bit nervous maybe, then they came in, sat right next to the adult learner and formed a bond, formed conversation, laughed. They've enjoyed each other's company, and I know they're filled with joy and volunteer hours when they leave. They just seem so uplifted.
Well, I do it because I want to help people whose first language isn't English, because my parents don't speak English as their first language. So I kind of know what it's like growing up with like parents whose first language isn't English. And I know like it would have been easier like growing up if my mom had like known English.
I think it's a great opportunity to be able to work with different people from different various races and cultures and see how they are able to learn English as non-English speakers.
It's a good way to like help the community, honestly, because these adults who are in this program, they're working adults, and they need like English to be able to probably survive, sometimes get citizenship, like kind of get all the things you need to survive in the US to speak English. And these classes, it's like a simple, good introduction on how to really survive.
Charbel is a 5th grade student at the Balch School, and his mother is a student learning English in the same school as her son. Nai Rashdan explains why she takes the class.
كرمال الشغل وعلمكم.
Like for the work to speak more English and like to talk more and learn how to talk.
ايه عم بتحسن وعم بتعلم كرمال اشتغل وكرمال اقدر افهم هون واقدر اتأقلم بأمريكا وكون مبسوطة.
She's feeling like happy and better like when she talk English, and like she's like signed for here for the work and know how to talk.
New student Marlene stopped us in the hallway and used Google Translate to make sure that we understood her appreciation for the class. There are many reasons that adults sign up for the class at the Balch School. They know it will help them in their home, at work, with their children's teachers, and in their daily lives.
Because I need learning English. It's good. Because the teacher is good. I'm happy in my job and my doctor and my friends, everywhere. It's perfect because I help my son, my daughter. It's perfect, very good. If the song, the song, the music, sunshine, our shoulder make me happy.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy.
One of the ways to learn a new language is with music. The class sings a song by matching pictures and words to create a special sing-along learning experience. The current class has wrapped up, and there are plans to continue it in February. It is a success here at the Balch, and there are hopes that it will spread to other schools in Norwood.
I would really like the program to grow. I would certainly be happy to take it on the road all around Norwood or train and show someone else what we do. And we can pass it on or we can bring it to other schools. We're happy to share.
It was truly uplifting and rewarding for me to learn about this program. Personally, I grew up in a bilingual home right here in Norwood. My mother and her family immigrated from Greece to the United States at the age of 5, without knowing any English. She attended the Callahan School, graduated from Norwood High School, and is currently teaching right here at the Balch for 27 years. A huge thank you to Sandy Qualter and Ellen Norton, as well as the high school students. Your time and effort is truly making a difference. Reporting for Norwood News, I'm Kiki Thaxter.
Wow, I think you know why in the news business we call this a feel-good story. Amazing. Thank you to the teachers and students who are doing great things at the Balch School, and thanks to Kiki Thaxter and Jack Tolman for highlighting this program. We'll be right back with sports and government coverage.
Did you know Norwood Community Media has a weekly newsletter? If you are interested in signing up, all you have to do is go to our website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Once you're there, scroll to the bottom of the page and click on the Sign Up for Our Newsletter button. All you have to do after that is fill out your first and last name, your email, as well as your zip code. Once you press send at the end of each week, you will have our newsletter in your inbox, ready for you to catch up on all things Norwood.
Last Friday was the Norwood Senior Center's holiday luncheon, where so many seniors got dressed up for the occasion. NCM talked to Senior Center Director Kerry McCarthy about the festivities and the guests that were full of holiday cheer during this annual event.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
Today is our annual holiday luncheon, and this year's theme is Winter Wonderland, as you can see. We do this so that we can all come together at the end of the year and just celebrate amongst all the friends. Everyone is really excited to be back, taking precautions of course, but it's just great to be back together again. I mean, we have 175 people here today, and it's awesome. We're so excited.
It's just a wonderful feeling. It's filled with the whole holidays. You can see how enthusiastic they all are to get together and break bread together and have a good time. And it's just, to me, it's warming to my heart to see so many people just enjoying each other's company. Special events like this that Kerry and her great staff and the friends of the Senior Center put together, it's just a fabulous opportunity, and heartfelt thanks to them for all their work. It's really great.
Ho, 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 walking in a winter wonderland.
Last Saturday, over 100 volunteers helped Veterans Agent Ted Mulvihill lay wreaths on veterans' graves in part of the national celebration of wreaths across America. Last Sunday, the residents gathered on the town common to celebrate the start of Hanukkah with the annual menorah lighting. The menorah on display was donated by the Greenfield family. The menorah was dedicated to the late Aaron Greenfield, Holocaust survivor and owner of Brenner's, who died earlier this year. Aaron's family was there to celebrate with the residents this Sunday. Now let's throw it over to Ron Marshalsea with sports.
I'm Ron Marshalsea, and this is your sports update. Girls basketball beat Ashland 67-31, but had a tough loss against Medfield. Boys basketball had big wins over both Ashland and Medfield, winning 70-32 and 74-52, respectively. And as of the recording of this sports update, the boys and girls doubleheader at home against Walpole has not happened, but we'll let you know the scores of those games right here on the next sports update. The girls hockey team have had quite a few close games, tying with Medfield 1-1, losing to Milton 3-2, and beating Hopkinton 4-3. In the Hopkinton game, goals were scored by Emily Spadorsha, Morgan Roach, Jenna Nauman, and player of the game, Michaela Brown. The team's next game is at Walpole next Wednesday at 3:45. The boys hockey team had a great 3-0 win over Ashland in their home opener, with Andrew Gillis scoring the first 2 goals of his career and Eddie Carroll also scoring 1. Zach Badger had the shutout in his first varsity start in net. Unfortunately, they were not able to repeat a victory against Medfield. Their next game will also be at Walpole next Wednesday, right before the girls' game at 2 o'clock. The girls swim and dive team were able to beat Dedham 107-60, and congratulations to Colleen Sisk for qualifying for sectionals in diving. The boys swim and dive team lost their matchup against Dedham, but Norwood swim and dive team was able to win the Nor Cup against Norwell for the third consecutive year, 95-66. The wrestling team had a tough matchup against Severian, but will be having a dual meet against Sharon and Quincy next Saturday the 31st at 10 a.m. And that is all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshalsea. And Norwood News will be right back after this break.
Norwood Community Media has its own video on-demand channels. You can go to our website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org, and click on whichever on-demand channel you are looking for, whether it be things to do in the community, events at the schools, or town government meetings. Once you click on one, you are going to be taken to a screen in which you can search for stories or videos you missed on TV or just want to watch again. Just click on the search bar on top of the page and start typing. Once you've found what you're looking for, just click in the middle of the video where the play button is and you are off enjoying one of the 3 on-demand channels NCM has to offer.
At the Finance Commission meeting last Thursday, after opening remarks and approval of minutes, the Commission met with Superintendent Dave Thompson and the school department to discuss the budgets for the next 2 fiscal years. In addition to the budgets, they discussed the fiscal year 2024 revenue forecasts as well as the tax recap for 2023. The Planning Board's meeting on Monday night was highlighted by the presentation for the request of site approval for the new middle school by the project engineer. There were some questions from the board, including whether or not this project would interfere with the walking path with exercise equipment around the fields being the current middle school.
There's that gravel pathway that's exists today in the back, and it's a walking trail that actually Mr. Miller was involved in and got a lot of volunteer companies, and he can talk on it with his, and got exercise equipment, and it's used quite a bit. And I think Mr. Ryan's comments were that it may take a few dollars, not, he says in the scheme of things, not a lot, but to replicate it to make it a true loop and not cross over parking lots and things like that. Sure. Do you know what we're talking about?
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
You know what what the path we're talking about? And I think it's for the town. The town gets a lot of use out of it, and with the, everything today with walkability and the Norwood has got now as a trails committee, and there's a resurgence of
Green, pesky old green.
Of walking, and but that one got a lot of use, and a lot of time and effort went into it with a lot of volunteers.
Either way, so we heard that from day one as far as that walking path continuity and stuff like that. So it's actually included within the design. There's been a couple different iterations. And obviously, so during construction, it's going to be impacted.
Well, we understand construction. We're talking about
right after completion. What we currently have, and what Mr. Ryan's comment was, is that it loops. Trying not to touch it. It loops around here, as everybody knows. It's this portion here that is impacted by the project. What the current proposed solution is to cross from the upper part across the road, walk along the sidewalk here, and then cross back to continue the loop. And it's our understanding of his comment is that instead of crossing that road, the perimeter road, and staying in 2 locations, is there a way to keep the path on the upper side of the road so it's still continuous, but you don't have to cross the roadways? So to do that, it requires retaining walls,
right,
as he mentioned, because right now we're just sloping the grade down, but the retaining walls would be required because we're pushing closer to the existing football field. So we're looking at it from a cost perspective, but also from the global community perspective as well.
The Board of Health held their monthly meeting on Tuesday, where they had a tobacco report, an epidemiologist report, as well as a resource specialist report. During the resource specialist report, the resource specialist, as well as the board, warned Norwood residents, especially seniors, about people scamming them with gift cards and to make sure to report any scammers they may encounter. The school committee was back at the Savage Center for their meeting this Wednesday, where committee members Joan Giblin and Teresa Stewart had prolonged discourse about tabling a policies subcommittee discussion until the next school committee meeting. The discussion ended up being brought up and not tabled until the next meeting after the motion to put it off failed by a 3-1 vote.
So I hate to do this, but I'd like to move to table the KCSD policy conversation. The policy subcommittee hasn't had a chance to look at it.
I know. We made a motion at the last meeting that it was going to be kicked over to the budget, and we already spent extensive time, and I worked with MASC, and I have a lot to say on that, so I don't want to table it.
With all due respect, I'm unsure as to why the policy subcommittee put together a set of agenda for reviewing things. This is not urgent, and I'm unclear what the policy subcommittee's role is if we are not to review policy prior to it coming to the school committee.
So at the last meeting, when Kate gave the update and shared the timeline, I had expressed concerns that the proposed waiting until July for KCD and Section D was too late due to the fact that MASC put out revisions in September based on new law, and we have to follow that law immediately.
And I'm asking for, it is on our agenda, which has already been published for our January meeting, so I'm not asking for a July delay. I'm asking for until the policy subcommittee has a chance to review the policy together.
Joan, there was a motion made at the last meeting, the 4-0 approved.
I understand that.
This was going to be taken care of and voted on tonight.
No, there was a motion that it would be on the agenda for a vote this evening. I'm raising a concern. Well, in the same way that the policy committee would make a recommendation to the budget committee around budget issues for them to review before it came to a vote, the budget committee made a recommendation around policy, which should come to the policy committee to review before it comes to a vote. It's a procedural.
But that's not how we did it during the policy audit. So Section D and some of K, we handed over to Maya and Anne Marie.
And that was what we did during the policy audit, and since then, including at the what was presented the last one, is we're working to create a structure. And
I understand.
And we have spoken extensively in our workshop about the fact that we're trying not to create emergencies and reactions.
I understand.
And so what I'm asking is that it be tabled until the policy review committee has a chance to review it on January 4th.
Although I do understand your point. Respectfully, at the last meeting, a motion was made and seconded, and in 4-0, the decision was that Section D and KCD were going to the budget subcommittee because it impacted the budget and some of the long-term planning that we were doing, and that then KCD would be on the next budget meeting, which already happened, which was posted with it on the agenda, which I shared out everything from that meeting a week ago. We did work. I then did additional work coming out of the budget subcommittee. I spent an hour on the phone with Dorothy Presser. I updated the committee with my notes on that. I followed the direction of a motion from the full committee, and I think it's a really slippery slope if we're going to make motions and direct work, and then at the next meeting, when the motion was followed and the work was done, change that.
That has come up before. That has happened before when other members have been out, and the same type of thing has happened where we have tabled discussions. This is asking to table a discussion, not to supersede the vote. It's asking to table it for one meeting so that the policy subcommittee can have a chance to review a policy revision that is being proposed to the entire school committee.
What is the harm in me presenting the work that's been done, having a discussion?
I just think we do it next week so that the policy subcommittee can weigh in with
But you're here, why can't you weigh in now?
Because we didn't have a chance to discuss it. I'm not the policy subcommittee.
But there was a motion made, 4-0 said, this is the plan, go do the work, we did the work.
Just because the plan is made, we have frequently had to table things for similar reasons. And so I guess I don't have anything else. I mean, my point isn't going to change. This is not to discount any of the work. It's just asking for it to be presented a week later or 2 weeks later.
I understand the amount of time and work that went into this, Teresa, and you know, if I do not want you to take this conversation or whatever the committee chooses to decide as disrespect to you. I know that the vote was taken and you feel strongly that we should take action on it now. I hear that. I will remind us of another one of our standards is respectful discourse, and based on what I'm hearing, and this is my judgment as chair, is that we are getting dangerously close to this being personal.
Director of the Health Department, Stacy Lane, gives us some tips on how to stay safe this holiday season with all the illnesses going around.
All
right now we have prevention efforts to help combat or prevent seasonal respiratory viruses that have been circulating, particularly COVID-19, flu virus, and also RSV. Is unfortunately Massachusetts is seeing a lot of those cases, and especially flu. Flu is really high this season. We have a vaccination effort, so we do provide COVID-19 booster shots and we provide the flu vaccine. Both can be given at the same time, so you can come in for an appointment with the public health nurse and receive both at the same time. And also that the current vaccine that we have is very effective against the circulating virus that we have right now, so it was a great selection on that vaccine. So we do have a way to help prevent getting these seasonal illnesses. Now that it's the time of year that we're all getting together and we're traveling and we're seeing lots of family, there is a test kit here that we give away for free in the health department. It's by iHealth and it can test for COVID-19. So if you start to have these respiratory symptoms, whether it's a headache, sore throat, or cold-like symptoms, and before you go to an event, you want to know if you're ill, you can take this kit. It has 2 in it. So even if you're just starting to get some symptoms, you can take the kit, take the test. If it comes back negative, wait a couple of days to see if your symptoms start to get a little worse, and then you can take the kit again, the test again, to see if you have COVID-19. And that way you can make some informed decisions on whether you're going to stay home and not go to the event. I also want to let the public know too that a lot of these have a date, an expiration date that maybe has passed. They keep extending the date. So that's why you'll see a little sticker on the back that you can scan the code and it will tell you the correct expiration date. If you have any issues at all with determining that, please call the health department at 781-762-1240 and we'll be happy to look up the lot number for you and tell you the correct expiration date.
Assistant Recreation Director Katie Seastead announced this past week that she has accepted a job as the Director of Parks and Recreation in the town of Medfield. Katie and the former Superintendent of Recreation, Travis Farley, grew the Recreation Department over the past 7 years, and they will truly be missed. We thank Katie for all her hard work and dedication to our town. All of us at NCM wish Katie well in her new adventure. On December 19th, the town of Norwood lost a true friend, Tom McQuaid. Tom loved the town of Norwood and served it in many ways over the years. He was a member of the NHS class of 1971. He served as a member of the Finance Commission and Selectmen for many years before finishing his professional career as Chief Financial Officer of Norwood. But above all of this, Tom was a devoted family man, a true friend with a quick wit who touched many. All of us at NCM have fond memories of Tom, and our thoughts are with his wife Sue, his children TJ and Chrissy, and 5 grandchildren. Well, that's all for Norwood News. We want to wish you all a happy holiday season. Norwood News will see you in 2023. To stay up to date with Norwood News, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.